Running for Joplin City Council, General Seat. I'd like to start by thanking you for having me today. I respect each and every one of you because what you do deserves a great deal of respect, especially in today's harsh political climate. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a Christian conservative, the proud father of 3 incredible children, and my beautiful wife in the back, Rose. Sadly, only a few years ago, our men and women were being degraded with chants like defund the police. Now, despite the fact the majority of Joplin residents passionately support our law enforcement and they want to see our pay increase, our nation and even our city continue to show that lack of support for those who serve on our front line of defense in our city, protecting our neighborhoods, our family, and our children. Therefore, we must be ardent in our fight for our constitutional rights and freedoms, our small businesses, our fight for law and order, as well as the defense of our men and women in uniform, because they are our number one asset in that defense. For years now, I have publicly chosen sides. Most of you probably see me in the city council meetings. They know me well. My faith and devotion to my God is my number one pillar that I have. My dedication and love for my family is second, and my impassioned commitment to our Constitution and this incredible republic that we have the opportunity to live in is my third. Therein lies the reason I decided to run for Joplin City Council. In 2019, I joined a group called Support the Joplin Police, which later they ended up adding on other police departments throughout Southwest Missouri, and repeatedly and passionately became an advocate for our Joplin City Council, pleading with them for our support of our police and fire, much to the disdain of some of our current council members. I also spoke about my concerns with the growing attacks on our citizens' constitutional freedoms, as well as the growing crime rate, poverty, drug issues, and all of it plaguing our city. I attribute most of it, in fact most all of it, to the lack of support and pay for our men and women in uniform, although our judicial system letting criminals out too easily is making your job that much harder. Apparently I made an impression because the council, one of the members, called me telling me that it was not my fight to fight for police and fire pay, as it was the job of this union. I respectfully disagreed, vowed to fight on. He asked me, "Are you going to continue?" And I said yes, which is why I stand before you today. A few weeks ago, I took a ride along with one of your own, actually it was about a week ago, Officer Carnahan of the Joplin Police Department, and got a first-hand look at what he said was a mild night in Joplin, which seemed to me more like a wild night. Today, I see drugs flooding our streets in record numbers. I see it poisoning our families, our friends, and our children. I'm a Joplin school teacher, so I see how that can affect our kids. I see officers fighting to keep up with the growing crime rate, but with fewer resources and fewer officers on the street, and with less support than they should be getting from our city. A city that should be making it crystal clear that Joplin is a city of law and order, and that we back our blue. I'm running on city council because I see a nation that's corrupted politically, dividing races, ages, sexes, religion, and even turning Americans against entire occupations like your own. I see a nation that's locked down businesses and forced them to turn against their employees and their customers, leading to many of my friends and family and other people throughout this community having to shut down their business or struggle for survival. I see mandates enacted that have led doctors, nurses, police, and firefighters, and lawyers throughout our nation having to be fired because of their political and religious beliefs. For the first time since the Great Depression, we have people stocking up on food, paper goods, and other things because of their fear for what's coming, soaring inflation that continues to go out of control, and their lack of faith in our government. We have a growing homeless population, beggar population, which you can see all throughout Joplin, surging poor as our government declares war on our middle class. Even our city is witnessing its new faith. It's tested its faith in God and devotion to one another, and its commitment to making Joplin a safe, a fiscally sound, and a moral community. Because even though we are one of the last in our nation usually to feel the bite of inflation, it's already being seen in our stores and at the gas station, and I have a feeling it's going to get much worse. It's causing burdens on our middle class, and especially the lower income and those who live on fixed incomes. Therefore, after a great deal of thought, consideration, and reflection, I decided it's time for talk is over, as I no longer go to the meetings, although I will be at the next one, pleading with our city council to act with leadership on the funding of our law enforcement, our fire department, and our first responders. The time to plead with our leaders is over. The time to act is now. It is time for a leader who will defend our law enforcement against those who threaten your livelihoods and careers. After all, without law and order, our businesses are going to fail, our residents are going to leave, which many have started doing so already, and our city is going to falter. It's time for a leader who will not remain quiet, and as some of the council knows, I am not the quiet type, but will openly and loudly defend each and every one of you and the constitutional rights of each and every citizen within this city. I could give you statistics of how bad Joplin is, the crime, the drugs, the homelessness, and so forth, but you already know that because you have to live it every single day. One ride along and I saw every single incident that I was concerned about right in front of me. I can tell you about the massive and growing homeless population, which I got to see at firsthand the effects of it, and nobody should have to live like that. You see the horrid conditions they live in, it's almost like a third world. I know our fire department, I've spoken with them, they're understaffed and overwhelmed. Our police department's underpaid of our incoming gangs, drugs, and other issues that are plaguing our city. Therefore, it's time that when you get up each morning, when you give your spouse a hug and your children a kiss goodbye, that you know that if you run into trouble, it's time for our city to make it clear that this city will have your back and we will stand lockstep with you, and you do not have to fear reprisal. My vision of Joplin is one that works for the people. A city that is safe and prosperous as we put safety and security of our neighborhoods, our homes, our businesses, and our children first. A vision that will value each and every citizen throughout the city. Do I have all the answers? I wish I did. Unfortunately, I don't, but I can promise you that I will work tirelessly. I'm a fact-based person that likes to go out and dig and find out the most facts I can, talk to each person, because if I'm going to go and find out information, talking with people is the best way you can do that. And I want it to be loud and clear that I am an open and loud supporter of our police, fire, and first responders. Our city's primary responsibility is to provide safety and security for our citizens, and we are not honoring that promise. I've already been meeting with officials, businesses, and organizations throughout this city to better understand the issues we face and the struggles that the business owners deal with and the frustrations of our residents. And most of it leads back to the lack of police support. Today, amid our national turmoil, we are undeniably going to see hardships, but we're going to get the work done and fix this city. Therefore, this is your chance. If you are like me, I will listen to the people. I love to research and find out the truth, and I will fight for the God-given constitutional rights of each and every person in this city. That chance is coming on April 5th. If you elect me, I will fight with passion. And I thank you for your time.